Hey guys, it's Reality of Mommyhood here again. I just wanted to do a little video, I guess what I like to call a mommy hack for taking your kids on a road trip or just like an outing, like to the beach or whatever, and just like stuff that you can bring with you to help you survive the long car rides and to like keep your kids entertained and stuff like that. Um, the This video is kind of inspired by my cousin who was packing her cooler to take, I guess, to go to the cottage, and she didn't have ice. So what she decided to do to improvise was to pack a whole bunch of freezies in the cooler, which I thought it was a neat idea. But if you have a lot of food in your cooler, like meats and stuff, you want to make sure you have a lot of ice, especially if it's a long road trip, just so that you keep the meats cool. So my first suggestion for that, like for packing your cooler, if you're taking meats, make sure they're frozen, like freeze them ahead of time so they're cold, and so hopefully they'll stay cold, like frozen hamburgers or whatever. You don't have to, like I know then you run the risk of it thawing before you get to your destination. The other option is just to make ice ahead of time, like in yogurt containers. Or what I like to do is take, bottles of water, regular bottles of water, and freeze them. And I'll freeze a few of them in the freezer like the night before, and they're like completely solid. So when I pack the cooler, we make sure that it's the last thing to pack, and then we put the bottles of water, some on the bottom, and then the meats go on top, and then some more bottles of water on top of the meat, and along with everything else that you're packing. The other thing I like to do is freezing juice boxes. I'll freeze a couple of juice boxes so that they're cold, and then if you have to make a stopover, if it's a long car ride, then the juice boxes will be either they'll be thawed or they'll be like slush, so it's like a little treat for your kids as well. And also with the water bottles, you can drink the water afterwards, and if it's a hot day, then it's nice and cold. That's what we did when we went to the beach. We went to Balsam Lake recently, and it was like 40 degrees outside with the humidex, probably over, so like you can feel yourself burning in this heat. And I froze bottles of water, and they were so refreshing for that day because it took a while for the water to thaw, and it was nice to just like stay hydrated in that heat. The other thing to do is to always check your sunscreens. When we went to Balsam Lake, I brought 3 bottles of sunscreen with me because we had one that was a mineral one that we like to use, and it was almost done. So I was worried that we weren't going to have enough. So I brought 2 other ones that were tubes. And when we got to the beach, we finished the spray one, and then realized afterwards that the tubes were expired. So I was like, okay, we can't put that on ourselves. It's not going to do anything. It's just going to cause more problems, especially with my kids having sensitive skin. We didn't want to take that risk. So I made my husband go to the front desk area thing to go purchase another bottle of like tube of sunscreen, and luckily they had some, so we were able to put that on. But we still got a pretty significant burn from the beach. So just like, again, when you're going on a trip, even if it's a day trip, always check the expiration dates. Like I had checked a while ago because it was the weather was starting to warm up, and I'm like, we're going to need to start making sure that we're putting it on when we go out. And when I checked, it was still like a few months before it would expire, and then months went by and I totally forgot about it. So yeah, always check your sunscreens. For long road trips, my suggestion would be to take little activities or books with you for the car ride for the kids, especially if it's a long ride, um, or even like those magnadoodles so they can, you know, doodle in the car and then you don't have to worry about a mess and stuff like that. When my kids were younger, this was a few years ago, I think my son was my oldest was 4.5 or 5. We decided to do a road trip to Mont Tremblant in Quebec, and I was worried because it was such a long car ride that they wouldn't be able to stand being in the car for so long. And my eldest son, he has he gets car sickness a lot, so we were also worried about that. Like, so we brought children's gravel with us. We brought the wristbands to make sure that he doesn't get sick on the car ride. And we also had those little portable stroller fans to keep him cool, because we found that if he was really hot in the car, it also made it worse. If your kids are not car sick, you can bring in a DVD player. We had one of those portable DVD players that plugs into your car's outlet. So we used to do that before, but then we noticed that he is starting to get car sick. So doing our research and stuff, we found out that having him focus on like a book or a video in the car made it worse. So we decided to scrap that. So for this car ride, we didn't have any DVD player. So we had to figure out a way to keep them entertained. So I bought those little magnadoodle things for them, a couple of toys for them to play with in the car and stuff like that. And then we had planned to stop every 2 hours just to get a break to go to the washroom, and to just to like stretch and get like fresh air, because we knew my oldest son would be having a hard time with this car ride. So that was the plan. And then once we had planned to leave like early in the morning, and then we would stop at a rest stop for lunch, and this is where we would stay for like an hour. And when I did my research, this one was like this rest stop, I don't even remember where it was, but it was a bigger rest stop. So I thought this would be a perfect opportunity for us to have lunch, stretch out, like just have a break from the car and get the kids to play. So I had this like bag of toys that was easily accessible, so that when we stopped, we would have lunch. And we had I brought a picnic blanket with me, so I put it out on the grass. It was a nice warm day. They played with toys, they ate their lunch, and then we just kind of relaxed for a bit. We went to the washroom and got drinks and stuff like that. And that was also when the water bottles came in handy, because it was nice and cold. And also now with the coronavirus and the pandemic, the water fountains are closed off because they don't want anybody touching it and like contaminating it or whatever. So the water bottles would come in handy for that. I know it's not environmentally friendly. I mean, you could bring like an actual water bottle, but I find that like some water bottles shouldn't go in the freezer, so you don't want to take that risk. I mean, you can try, but like you don't want to break your water bottle and then you have no water altogether. So yeah, so that's what we did. And we were worried about my eldest son because he was always having issues in the car where he felt sick. But it was my younger one that kept complaining. My back hurts. I am very I want to get out of the car. Why is this car ride so long? I think he was like 1.5, maybe 2. He was young. So I was hoping that the whole car ride to Mont Tremblant he would sleep. He complained pretty much the majority of the time. So it was funny, like we were all prepared for my eldest son, like just trying to keep him entertained and comfortable in the car, and it was the younger one that was complaining. So that was funny. So now whenever we plan trips, we try to plan trips where we're not driving for long periods of time, because we know that he cannot sit in a car. So, what else? Just, and also, like, if your kids or like anyone that you know gets motion sickness, make sure you bring a change of clothes with you, just so that, just in case something happens, you can change them and it's easily accessible. Baby wipes, that kind of thing. There was something else I was going to say. Make sure you bring lots of snacks too for the car ride. Healthy snacks, unhealthy snacks, if you really wanted to. Just it helps to break up the boredom in the car. You can have a little snack, have some drinks, that kind of thing. Like even just like bring a small cooler for the front of the car. I think that's it. I'm sure I'll come up with more ideas and stuff for road trips with your kids, but that's all I can think of for now. And I know I've been talking a lot, so I want to end this video. So I will see you guys next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out my website, realityofmommyhood.wordpress.com, to check out all my latest blog posts and mommy hacks. Thanks.